Hi everybody, this is the investing teacher, high school science teacher, teaching others how to invest. Obviously a science teacher with my periodic table of Mario shirt on. Today's video, I just want to go over what my current account values are in my Roth IRA. I made a Thinkorswim brokerage account. Also take a quick glance at my wife's Roth IRA. And we're also going to look at the positions I have, the account values from the net liquidating value from beginning of January to today. I'm doing this video on October 24th, 2021. Also going to consider different percent allocations on my strategies that I do starting in January of next year. Some good news here. My wife very soon going to be finishing her nursing school, and she already got a job as a nurse that will start in early February. Even though she didn't get her degree yet, she still got the job for it, which is great. And we'll be pretty much doubling our income in around February of next year. So we plan on saving quite a bit more money. Could be up to about $22,000 a month or so. So again, just want to look at the account values, some of my general thoughts on what I've been doing with my funds and how I might switch it in the future. As always, click that like, subscribe button, smash it. Definitely helps out the channel. Definitely appreciate all your support. Let's get to that 3,000 subs any minute now. So then, let's get right to it. Okay, so we're going to focus on the net liquidating value. What that means is if I got rid of every position I currently have, bought to close all of my current cash secured puts, whatever the profit loss is, sold any shares that I own for covered calls, and then I saw that actual account value, we're going to be looking at how much that is compared to what I started with. So some people do this as a gauge because it is actual money, nothing wrong with that. In this channel, I've been focusing mostly on the income that I've been receiving every month. So if I say buy to close an option where I sold it for $100, bought to close it at $20, I count that as an $80 profit. And the net liquidating value should show that in most cases. Now, if you get assigned shares on a stock from a cash secured put, that stock price could go down quite a bit. And I sure wish that one of my positions would actually go up for once, because the net liquidating value is quite a bit lower than it could have been if I wasn't in that position. So happens, life happens, it's okay. Just going to be patient on it. Anyway, for looking at the income that I make per month compared to the net liquidating value is a little bit different because of those positions that could drop in value. However, patience is a virtue, and although some of my percent gains are for each month don't completely associate with your net liquidating value, still have a good overall return for the year, and that's all that really matters in the end, right? So we're going to go over my Roth IRA, which I've been doing the main strategies in this channel. I also set up a brokerage account through Thinkorswim. That's a smaller account, about $5,800 right now, where I do mostly credit spreads and poor man's covered calls. And then we'll also take a quick glance at my wife's Roth IRA as well, but that's pretty much all buy and hold. I am doing some very conservative covered calls on just one or two positions, but other than that, it's pretty much index funds. And we'll see where we are and where we plan on being in the future. Let's get right to the numbers. All right, so let's look at the current portfolio and year-to-date results. This is the current positions I have in my Roth IRA. I've been filling around with really small positions on buying calls. So I did buy an Apple call for January 21st at 150 strike price. This is pretty close to the current price. To plan on actually selling that before earnings. BBIG, I'm currently just got a sign on 600 shares, and that one did drop quite a bit as well. CEI, I'm doing a small test run of two calls at 2 strike price. Here's most of my other positions. Fubu, I have a 25 cash secured put. Genus, I've been waiting around a while, so I went further out, about 3-month expiration at 2. GTE, pretty good profit on it now. I have to wait 27 more days. Do have a covered call at 1, and right now it's in the 85s or so. So, and that one I might actually liquidate it because I bought my initial shares at around 72, and I'm also possibly just going to liquidate it as a pretty good profit. My cost basis is in the high 50s, I think, at this point. IVR, again, waiting around a bit. Like those dividends, they pay about 2% every 3 months on that. I did do a more recent cash put on Laser 15 for 27 days out. Lucid have been selling covered calls pretty frequently, and right now I'm still at a 26 call, 20 days out. Brought the cost basis down under 20 at this point. Moxie, I've been selling covered calls around the 10, 12.5s, and that one is pretty low in my net liquidating value because my cost basis is around 16 or so, 15, I think. But I'm going to be a little bit patient on that one. Luckily, it's only one contract. Pinterest, I'm trying a little bet on because they are considering getting bought out by PayPal. There might be a bidding war for Microsoft or Google and other companies. So I bought one out at 60, down a little bit on that, but that's just a test run to see what happens because PayPal said that they might be thinking about buying at 70. RKLB, I do have a few positions on that. Cash put at 10. Rocket Mortgage has been wheeling quite a bit since around April. Currently at an 18 call, and my cost basis is around 18 as well. And so far, I did my last video on. I actually changed my strike price up to a 19, and this is for 11/12. No, initially I had it, I think, at 17, but I had to take some profits very quickly because it was about a 2.5% gain in a week. So hopefully you guys might have gone on to the SoFi. Do have Wish. I have 700 shares of Wish, and I currently don't have any covered calls on it because they're going to have earnings in early November. I think it's around the 12th of November or so. So I'm going to wait it out on this one, which is my worst holding of the year because I bought my initial shares at around 12, and I did bring the cost basis down to the low 10s, but right now it's in the mid 5s. If it wasn't for Wish, my net liquidating value would have easily beaten the S&P 500, but just for all full disclosure here, Wish did bring it quite a bit lower for my net liquidating value. Still have a good overall return for the year, and I'm wishing that it will eventually go back up. And then Workhorse is another pretty hurt position. Cost basis was around a little under 10, and then I'm selling covered calls at 8 at this point to try to lower that cost basis more, but that did hurt the net liquidating as well. So that's all of my positions in my Roth IRA. I am testing around $1,000 in buying calls for certain positions just to see if I might be able to get a quick gain on that. But again, I'm doing no more than about $1,000 on it on the total account. So it's almost like gambling money. See what happens on it. This is my brokerage account that I did through Thinkorswim. It's a smaller account that I plan on building up quite a bit in the next few years. We have CVM, which pharmaceutical drug. They work on the neck cancer drug that might get approved by the FDA any minute now, hopefully. Good position so far. I bought 200 shares at $9.52. Current stock value is at $11.42. And I did sell a covered call at 10, lower than the current price. The reason why I wanted to do that is I could lock in about a 50-cent per share gain, and I made $110 on that covered call position as well. So that's selling a covered call pretty far in the money, lock in some of the gains that I might have. If the stock ends up dropping a lot, going under 10, I did make a good return in my covered call premium. If it gets called out after 10, I'm still locking in a good gain. Also have a November at 16 call. These are going to be further out of the money that I'm trying to get monthly income on. Made $16 on it about a month or so, and just keep getting about 1 to 1.5% a month on it. I do have a pretty far out lotto play here for January 2023, so I have over a year left on this at 35. I figure if they get FDA approved, I might shoot way up, but it was a lotto ticket, $224 here. The bid ask changes quite a bit. It's not really 157 because I see the ask around 280 or so. All right, the rest I've been doing are pretty much vertical credit spreads or iron condors. I do have one poor man covered call as well, and talk more about what I'm thinking of in the future for this. So IWM, I have an iron condor. It's at 227.12 right now. I went and sold a 205 put and bought a 240 call. So it's pretty far away from the current price here. Still have 26 days until expiration, and plan on trying to buy to close these around 75% profit or so, because iron condors do cost more in commissions. You got to do 4 contracts and then buy and sell them. So I've been doing quite a few of these. QQQ, same idea, 373.37. Sold a 350 put, sold a 400 call and iron condors here by doing a 5 width spread. And then looking for about 75% gain. SoFi is a poor man covered call, doing really well with it so far. Bought it January 2023, bought it at $672. Current value is $11.80, and I did buy this about a month ago, so it's a really good return so far. I keep moving my covered calls up a bit because the stock price keeps moving up, and I'm currently at a 25 call. I did lose a slight amount of money rolling some of my covered calls because I want to keep the long call. Tesla, I've been doing weekly vertical spreads, currently at an 800 sold put, bought 795, so it costs $500 in buying power. Currently, it's at 909. This might earn me 24 cents or dollars times 100 for 1 week of expiration. So Tesla's been doing really well, but starting to go a little closer to in the money on the strike, so a little reluctant on it. But they did just finish earnings. Hopefully the IV will stay pretty close to where it is. Did another iron condor on Visa. 26 expirations at 231. I have a 210 put and a 250 call that I sold. Again, 5 with spreads. Initially earned about $65 in premium from it. Probably going to buy to close around 2025. And I did buy 100 shares of Wish at 10.15 and selling monthly covered calls on this particular one. Currently at a 9 call. And that's my Thinkorswim brokerage. I plan on doing a lot of vertical spreads, iron condors, and an occasional poor man covered call in positions that I'm really confident in. Here's my wife's Roth IRA, by the way. And we did talk a bit about what companies she might like. And this is pretty much all buy and hold. We have ADV. ABDV is a small cap international value ETF. We have a large amount there. Broadcom, MasterCard, Realty Income, a little bit more of my play there, but like real estate, easy way to get into REITs. Palantir is the only one I've been doing pretty conservative covered calls on. So I currently have a covered call out to December at 30. Around 28 was our initial purchase price for 300 shares. So I've been selling a few months out, a little higher than our purchase price. So if we get called out on it, still get some net capital gains. Not earning much in premiums there, but trying to stay a little bit safer. Roblox for our kids because they love that Roblox. SOYV is our largest holding. It's a small cap value fund, and it's up to $21,000 the account. Store Capital is another REIT. So Store and O, we've been steadily putting in a little bit more money into those. We've been mostly putting in SOYV and AVDV in the index fund REITs, index fund ETFs. Store Capital, very small, covered call on it, and then Visa. So we did pick a few companies that we like. These are mostly dividend growth companies, pretty solid companies in general, and we have between 2,000 to 3,000 on about 7 different positions. A little bit higher in Store Capital because we're more bullish on the REITs, and large amounts going to be in the index funds. So let's get starting in adding balances. Our starting balance for my Roth IRA in January 1st of this year was $30,103. We added so far $5,540. Plan on maxing this out by the end of the year. So put in another about $460. So with the added contributions from the starting, the total account is $35,643. Current account balance is $42,067. So the net profit, if you go from 42 to 35, was $64.24. I'm counting the net profit from added contributions. So it's technically 21.3% if I use the added contributions. The gain's a little higher than that because we weren't investing the added contributions until they came in, and some of them came in the last few months. So 21.3%, can't complain about it. It could have been near 28, 29 if it wasn't for Wish and Moxie, but those positions are what they are, and it happens. Year to date instead of year to date. For my brokerage account, starting balance put $2,000 in end of July. We added 3,100 so far. So add those up, you have 5,100. Current account balance is 5,875. So there's a pretty good gain there, $775, about 15% from July to now. So August, September, October, 3 months, 15%. I'll take that. These are mostly on vertical credit spreads where very few of them have been challenged so far. I've been going usually 5 delta, sometimes up to 10 delta. The SoFi was a really good gain there, and SoFi was one of the main reasons why we have a lot of that net profit. But those vertical credit spreads are not hurting either. And then wife's Roth IRA started with $41,045, added $5,000 so far, planning on adding another $1,000 before the end of the year. So 46,045 current account balance. Again, this is pretty much buy and hold. We're not really doing any trades on it. 51,617, and our net profit's about 13.5%. Again, mostly this is in the international ETF. The international funds haven't been doing as well as the U.S. funds, but there could be some mean reversion in the next few years, and maybe the internationals do better. Just try to diversify our holdings. Okay, lastly, I'm considering the following allocations to the future funds that I'm going to be contributing. Again, I mentioned in the beginning, my wife will get her nursing job in February. We could probably save about $2,000 a month compared to about the $900 to $1,000 a month that we're saving now while my wife was in nursing school. So it could easily double the amount that we're saving. That's not even including a 401k match. So I'm not even counting that in the $2,000. So with 401k match, we're going to max out my Roth IRA, max out my wife's Roth IRA next year. Been doing that the last few years. Definitely the highly recommended plan I'd recommend everyone doing is max out your Roth IRAs pretty much before anything else. For my Roth IRA, I'm going to continue doing a lot of the cash secured puts. I'm not doing any spreads in that one. It's cash secured puts, considering a little bit safer IVs at times, but if I'm pretty strongly convincing on one of the higher IVs, I might consider doing those. For my wife's Roth IRA, same old stuff, buy and hold index funds, keeps us a little bit in balance instead of wheeling this whole thing. And then my TOS brokerage will save about $1,000 a month or so. So $1,000 from the brokerage, $1,000 for me and my wife's Roth IRAs, that's $2,000 a month. With the brokerages, I'm still planning on doing about 30 to 45 days to expiration credit spreads, usually delta 0.05, 0.1 on the major indexes like IWM, QQQ, SPY, stuff like that. Been dabbling in some zero DTE on SPY as well, and I'll do a future video on that shortly. And do a few poor man covered calls like SoFi. Try to sell covered calls where your delta, the bought calls around 0.8, and then sell at around 0.2, 0.3. So again, that was my full disclosure on pretty much everything that we have in our account. Definitely appreciate everyone watching till the end of the video. If you have any questions on why I'm doing certain things with my portfolio, feel free to leave a comment down below and I'll be sure to address it. Again, I'm the investing teacher, high school science teacher, teaching others how to invest. Have a good one, guys, and I'll talk to you guys next time.